the wall, and then we try to surmise things by not testing properly. It's like,
right. Can you use words that I can understand though? Okay.
Yeah.
Testing is where you would pit like two decks against each other, Jason.
We need to have a little talk, you and me. People are losing their minds. And frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. You have the scalpers. Show me the money constantly. The bitchers, the whiners, everything.
Fucking ton
Let's
of
just
those.
Calm down. Outcast Haven podcast starts now. This week, we're going to start a touch negative. And there's no reason that it's hard not to start a little bit negative this week, because the negativity of this release is really up there for everybody involved. LGSs are feeling the pressure because their allocations, if your name's not Team Covenant, Channel Fireball, or Rudy with Alpha Investments, your allocations got cut short. So now you have to go back to your people and say, oh, you ordered a case, which is a reasonable amount of product to have. We're going to give you one box because my distributor yesterday, 2 days before pre-release or before release, said my allocation got cut. You can't have that on a product that has been waiting to come out for 9 months. You just can't have it. There has to be a transparency between LSS distribution down to the LGS. And then on the other side, you have LGS is like, I'm going to make money, so I'm cutting your order from 2 cases to 1 case. If you want extras, it's $500, which is also unethical if it was pre-ordered. So we're going to start this whole podcast off the hot topic and what's going on with distribution of this product. So I know both of you have a lot to say on this. I'm just whoever shouts first can take it off from where I left it there.
Blake, you can. I need to compose.
Okay.
Thoughts.
I feel like actually this is like one of those really shocking times where I might be the most level-headed voice here. Mainly because I think my thoughts are my thoughts are very clear. Like I'm very clear on what I think about this. But I think that the way I think about it is definitely from a perspective of like we're playing, right? Like this game is intended to be played. And I think the main issue and part of the reason that this is creating such tension in the game is because, again, I think this would feel like less of a topic in the community if we knew Unlimited was happening immediately and everyone was just excited and ready to play. But I think what we have right now is just a herd of people trying to get their hands on product because so many people just want it to play because they don't want to wait until Unlimited comes out. So you have players who are trying with everything in their like being to get their hands on product. And you have LGSs who are trying to just get their allocation and get the boxes sorted out for what they're going to give out, right? They sold, too much basically compared to what they ended up being allocated. So now they're struggling with trying to sort that out. So LGSs are frustrated. Players are frustrated because they're not going to get their boxes, and players are frustrated, I think, at LGSs unfairly, and they're also frustrated at collectors because there are people who are, complaining. Like that's the thing that's frustrating to me is people who are complaining about this, and they're like, "Well, I'm upset because like I ordered my boxes and I didn't get them." And I think if you want me to feel pity for you, I'm going to need some transparency on the number, right? Like if you tell me that you ordered 30 boxes. I know you didn't order them from one store. I know you ordered them from all over God's green earth. And therefore, now I know for a fact that you're actually a bigger part of the problem because your 35 boxes cut into somebody else's for, right? It's the point that Andrew from our buddy Andrew from Dice Commando made, where he said, like you open 3 Majestics in your packs and you feel amazing, but the guy next to you who got like super screwed by the odds and now opened 0 Majestics. So not only is he playing in a pre-release trying to win with a less good deck than you, but he's also going home with less prizing than you. He just kind of gets hosed all around. And I see people complaining on the Facebook groups. And it's like, if you ordered 35 boxes and you're complaining about getting your allocation, like your personal allocation messed up and go down to like 20, think about the guy who ordered a case who now gets a box. Like,
Or none.
Or none. Who does that suck more for? You're still going to get all your stuff. You're going to try and scalp it. You're going to sell all your singles. You're going to open all your cold foils. You're going to hang on to them. You're going to sell them for a bunch of money. I think that what it comes down to completely 100% is the fact that it's just this time disparity is causing issues even in this point, because so many people just want their hands on the product because they just want to play, because they know, hey, my LGS is hosting locals and they're gonna let Monarch be legal, but I got allocated from my case down to my box, so now I have to play a terrible deck. So I'm frustrated and I'm annoyed and I'm going to complain about it. And again, it's all targeted at the LGS, but again, it goes back to distributors and where the boxes are going. They're not going to the LGS. Why should an LGS be allocated, and why should their numbers be messed with when you're sending these big places all this product so they're the big boys and they're going to get way more product, and it's basically a classic scenario of the big guys always getting theirs and the little guy getting screwed. Because at the end of the day, like, without the LGS, where are we going to play in the flesh and blood? Like if everyone's getting pissed off about getting shortchanged, so now they're not going to buy from their LGS or go to the LGS, they're going to go buy from somebody like Rudy. That doesn't hurt anybody except people who want to just go play at their locals. Because now all these people who are just collecting anyway and they're messing with the amount. It's like, I think what sucks is it's taking away from the fact that like the Monarch release and all these pre-releases were absolutely amazing. It was like the best weekend to have new cards and be playing with people again and get out there and do pre-releases, and all of it's just getting completely trampled. Like, all that positivity is getting completely trampled by the fact that all these boxes got screwed up. And in the end, I think so much of it would have been solved if we just had unlimited right now, because then people would still be getting cards and people would still be playing. So the joy of playing would overwhelm the frustration of people not getting boxes. Because if you're buying alpha just to play the cards, you could get unlimited instead and you'd be happy. You'd be fine. You'd still get your stuff. And if the collectors were bitching and moaning about it, nobody would care. They'd say, move along. We just want to play the game. We're all getting our cards and we're excited about Monarch. Shut up and go away. Take your little boxes and keep them sealed. We don't care. Get out of here. I'm just frustrated by the whole situation, because I think it's all comes back to pretty similar things that we've been frustrated about since the beginning, which has just been product being released at the right time and available to players.
So if there's one thing I want to happen after this release, is I want New Zealand to go, oh, hey, we released Unlimited first, and all the players were super happy. I would rather be in the shoes of New Zealand right now than here. Like, I would much rather have a
1,000,000%.
a 3-day delay of the release, but have that release be unlimited, where everyone's going to get all the product they could want. And sorry, there's a 2-week delay on the investors, collectors that wanted their first edition
So,
stuff. Oh no, how will the game survive without people playing? Oh wait, they play unlimited. Cool. Okay, so that's ready. That's point one. Point two.
Well, and
I think
quick interjection there. The other thing is, what one thing I noticed that unlimited would help is, you guys notice one thing that didn't happen at pre-releases a lot: trading.
Yeah.
You know
sure.
why? Because who's going to trade a cold foil now? I don't know what it's worth. I'm not going to trade you a cold foil that could be $3,000 in a week.
All right, so that was point one. Point two is, this is being exasperated by the fact that they're only going to get a shot at this every 4 to 5, 6 months. So please, like, learn from the release, like the little tweaks, the allocation missteps. Like, it's going to be 5 months of this is what LSS's releases are like. It's not like Dragon Ball Super where they get a new shot at a new release where they can solve problems every month and a half. Point 3. All right. So the thing, I will even ask for less empathy from people than Blake did. And I feel like I'm a pretty empathetic person, but like I'm asking less empathy of those that you're probably not even listening. Because honestly, if you're these people, I hope you hate us because it's probably reciprocated. So if you're complaining about LGS is selling above MSRP for first edition, you can suck a dick, because what you're doing is you're saying, I would like you to give me free money, please. And LGSs are saying, why would we do that? And they're like, well, local community. It's like, well, you're across the United States ordering from me online. So how is that helping, other than like people are just bitching right now because they're not being given things like gimme MSRP, otherwise you bad person. It's like, no, it's not how that works. They're selling at market price because it's what the market is buying things for right now, and that's okay. It's first edition. Let the market make that decision. Get off your high horse, because they're not bad people for wanting to make the money that is demanded of their store. Or like, God forbid, even they make a little extra off a nest egg. Even Zach from Team Covenant, right? Like, he did an interview with Crappy Comics. He made a really good point. He was like, imagine if you're an LGS and all of a sudden you get this opportunity not to like be dishonest or to be a person, but just to like sell a product at market value that is worth a lot. Because hate to break it to everyone bitching not getting their first edition for $100, but it's worth more than that. LGS is selling the product for $450, $500. People are buying it for that. And if you're not one of those people, shut up, because there are other people that will spend that. That's the market price. And LGS, which is a business, not your friend, but can be friendly, but is a business primarily, is going to want to make that money because they have overhead. They have responsibilities. They've got places that money can go to improve the store for the locals. So if you're a guy in Arizona complaining online because this store is scalping, it's not called scalping, it's called selling a product because it's a goddamn business. Please, I'm so tired of reading that.
I want to sum this all up. So we have three distinct issues here, okay? The first issue is you have LGS pre-selling items without knowing their allocation number. So that's a big issue, and you shouldn't take a person's money when you don't know you can give them a product. And if you do take their money for 10 boxes and only give them 4 and then still have product to overcharge, that I don't agree with. Can't do that.
So let's be clear. That's bad.
Yep.
That's dishonest.
That's bad business.
That's bad business.
That's not what we're talking about.
I think more stores, I think what stores should do is they should split the difference, and they should charge, you should charge some sort of fee, like a holding fee. I have no issue with that because it can be applied to the number of boxes they end up being able to give you. If you want to charge 10% or something, make someone pay 10% of what they're trying to buy so that you can have it as a holding fee. And then you can also agree upon a price at that point, right? Put it on a piece of paper as part of the receipt, paying 10% of X amount, right? Everybody's happy then.
So that's issue one. That's not what we're talking about. When that happens, that's crap. Whatever.
Yeah, that sucks. If that happened to you, sorry, man. That's just
number 2 is what we agree with is an LGS charging $450 a box. Okay, so this is not Target. Okay, they don't have shareholders. They don't have such a huge pool of money coming in. I'm not going to use the term too big to fail, but they're a huge company with growth and grasp of different products that when the new PS5 comes out, they don't charge $1,000, they just charge $500 because they don't need to charge $1,000. They're not an LGS that, and this is coming from me, Jason, the business banker, looking at returns of do you know what their rent is every month? Do you know what their utilities are every month? Do you know that they have to pay wage? And now the same people that are bitching for a increase in minimum wage are also bitching because they have to pay $450 for a box. So figure out your fight, because that's the business banker in me, because they're both go together. So if we're going to pay people more, you're going to get charged more for product. And if the market value, like Dane and Blake have both said, is $450.
But gimme though. Gimme. I
Yes.
want it. I want it.
So-
Give me.
Those are the first two issues. And let's go to issue 3. And I'm going to call your baby ugly here. And people are going to hate me like they have in the past because I'm going to say your baby's ugly. It'll probably grow out of it. This is growing pains for LSS. 100%. This is a growing pain issue. I would hope, and I know they're smart enough to look at this and say, we are never delaying 4 weeks from a first edition to an unlimited product. There is no way they can do that. If they do, they are going to alienate so many people because, like you said, Dane, if you have unlimited like New Zealand does, and Cale McCree said it best, why does people care if New Zealand gets their first edition boxes in 4 weeks? Nobody's going to open them anyway.
Yeah.
They made that comment. I'm like, oh,
That's very, true.
very true.
Yeah.
It's
the
very
only
true.
reason.
So
yeah.
So I'm just summarizing what you guys said. You can't complain about this. There's 3 issues here that are all different, that all can be solved. And if you want first edition for the collectability, because as we said, you don't need them to play, unlimited plays just fine,
Mhm.
then you're going to pay the premium. You don't get to make the money. You don't have overhead. You have a job separate from what this LGS owner has. Okay. You don't get to make overhead. They do. That is what they do so that we have a place to play, so that when the armory kits come out, we can sit our fat asses into those seats and play the damn game. Okay. That's what we're going to stop with this whole thing right there. But
No,
we're just quit bitching. Enjoy the release.
The balls on some of these people complaining and whining online, like just the entitlement is at that really, like I lost my shit today a little bit. Like I was pretty upset. That is such a sense of entitlement to be like, sell to me at MSRP. Like do it or I'm going to bad talk you. Grow grow up. Holy shit.
That attitude to like be upset with somebody because they won't sell to you specifically at MSRP is also a part of the reason why I think, Jason pointed out, like, just stop even bothering with MSRP being like the price per pack. Just make MSRP on, if they would line up unlimited correctly with the release of your first edition prints, what you could do is basically what Magic does with their collector booster. Magic charges an absurd amount for their collector booster because it's all shiny cards, it's all overpriced, it's all fancy foilies, it's all fancy alt arts, and it's directed at collectors specifically. The whole thing is intended to be that, and it ends up being kind of like you overpay for it in hopes that effectively, like in this game, right? You overpay for first edition, hoping that you pull the Fabled or a Cold Foil Legendary. That's what you're hoping for. And if you don't, then you probably lost money. But if they would just charge $3.99 for first edition boxes from LSS, if LSS said MSRP on first edition boxes is $3.99 from now on, then stores, if a store wants to be like a saint and sell to their locals and be like, you know what, unlimited doesn't come out until the week after, so like we'll still do normal pack price, we'll do first edition releases with like first edition cards, like we'll do the pre-release the week before with those cards. Cool, that's amazing, it's awesome on them. If they want to wait and do everything on unlimited weekend and only sell these really expensive boxes a week before, let them do it. Like buff up the LGS and give them some more cash flow and crank their profits through the roofs on first edition so that they can way overbuy on unlimited, have an absurd amount sitting in their store, and never have an issue getting cards in the hands of players. Like it feels like an easy solution to a simple problem. And again, I understand. Like I think that the thing, this is where like maybe we like sometimes lose people because they get mad at us for like calling their baby ugly and they're like, LSS is the best company ever. We agree. Like we agree that they are an incredible company doing a wonderful job in a really challenging time. Like they've managed to like navigate their way through a pandemic, a game exploding beyond belief, and they're trying their best to like just keep everything together so that the players can be happy.
And doing it
they're
well.
doing it well. They're not like, they're doing as much as they can possibly do. And I think they're exceeding expectations because they created an incredible pre-release season and an incredible release season and spoiler season. It's all amazing. And they've done an incredible job. And I think that, again, what we're trying to say is like, I think that they will navigate through this. They will get to a solution. What we're trying to tell people is just chill out. Like, stop directing the anger at the wrong people. Why are you mad at LGSs for trying to make money so you can sit in their stores and play games and underpay for everything? Like, the reality is, like, you're going to pay for locals. Do you see how much those mats go for? I've won some of those mats. They are not worth what people are paying for them. Do you understand how insane it is that they still let you pay like $10 to come play a Blitz event and win a $300 mat? Like, they should charge you more for that at locals, but they don't, because LGSs for the most part are actually good people who just want to support communities. Why are you directing your anger at them? It's so misdirected and it's so stupid. And 99% of the people who are mad at them should be mad at themselves, because they're the ones who screwed it all up because they way over ordered.
I'm not even mad about the over ordering. I'm just mad that people are wits sometimes. But all right, we can move on. Jason tried to move us on, and I feel like I
No, it's fine. So
just when I think I'm out. All right.
So pre-release weekend was huge. As I said last week, I was going to come through and go 3-0, and I did not do that at all. Blake and Dane did that pretty well for us. I did not. I continue the trend of I suck on sealed events. That was the theme of the weekend. I'm going to make one excuse, and I'm going to go back to Andrew with Dice Commandos for saying this. I pulled really, really bad this week. The one time I pulled good, I was our at-home event on webcam, and I didn't have time to print, and I didn't want to draw a chain proxy. So I'm like, I'll just play Levia, because I have 2 more pre-releases. It'll be fine. And then she kind of sucked, and I swayed back to chain, which was amazing. And then the next 2 days, only pulling like 1 majestic for 6 and just being like, oh, I don't have very many 6 and 7s or 8 attacks with prisms. They're all 5s. This doesn't feel very good to me.
Yeah.
So I will make that excuse, but I sucked. I went like, I'm a 500 sealed player. I'm a 2-2 sealed player. It's the realization I have to come to.
Yeah. I did lose 4 games this weekend altogether. 3 games. Lost one, lost 2. Yeah.
What you both got mats on Friday night.
Friday and Saturday.
Dane or Blake, you won overall on Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
And Dane, what were you, 2 or 3?
Friday I was 5th place out of like the 30.
We had 32, I think that started.
32, and then Saturday I was 3rd place out of whatever that number was, 28, whatever was it. And then Blake beat me by 2 places in both of those. He got 3rd. He got 3rd on Friday and 1st on Saturday. So.
And then we did play on Sunday, and I that was the one day I went light, and I just, when you had a bad pull, the consensus is when you pull bad, you go to Prism. And I couldn't even do it with Prism. It was so bad. And part of it's not my play style. Part of it is that I think I just suck at sealed. I don't know what my deal is with sealed. Maybe I don't get it fast. I'm not smart. I got hit in the head too many times as a young child. I don't know. Ate too many paint chips. Something.
Yeah. I was sad on Sunday because I thought I was so close to the mat trifecta, and then Justin, my local arch nemesis, he always beats me at the most inopportune times. And yeah, I thought I had a shot at a mat, and then I ended up in 4th place, and they only did 2 mats at that event. Or I would have got a mat there. I would have completed the mat trifecta and got all 3 prints, and I didn't. I missed it, so I was sad.
I was going for the Celestial Cataclysm mat every game. I got 2 of them. I want to get 2 of them.
I got a Celestial Cataclysm mat on Saturday because I played Prism, the one that I won. I won with Prism. I got 7th with Chain on Friday, and then on Sunday I got 4th, and I played Levia.
I beat you Friday. Yeah,
you did.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah, and then I got on Sunday I got 4th with Levia. She was.
Yeah, I lost a close one to Nick, who ended up topping the Sunday one. Lost a really close battle with him, and he had a really good end turn with Chain.
So I'm going to blame you. I'm going to blame you for him getting the mat over me, because he won the mat.
Yeah, but if I won it, then I'm in another bracket, and you never know what happens. But you did beat me, and I just couldn't do anything in that matchup at all, to be honest with you. No. That was, we recorded that one, but that one felt bad. That was, it's kind of crazy because I played you, Blake,
Mhm.
and then I played our buddy Garrett, who's up in Duluth, who was actually at my house for Friday. I played him on Saturday, but that was the only 2 crossovers with, our
Yeah, there was tons
inter
of
squad.
new people out,
Yeah.
which is awesome. That Sunday one I played. I know over the course of the whole weekend, I think I played like 3 or 4 people that were like new to the game, first experience. I'm like, dude, let's do it. So it was good. It was really fun.
Yeah, so it was a really, really good pre-release weekend. I'm just gonna shout out Atlantis, Game Related, Source Comic and Games. Those were the 3 that we did.
Mhm.
The person who ran Source Comic and Games, just an amazing TO. Just did a wonderful job. It was
Couldn't
me.
understand anything, but yeah,
Yeah.
he tried. So pat on the back for that.
I will say, as a person that like
So
running
you're
an
a
armor
judge
event
then,
for-
right? You're a judge.
Yeah, I'm a judge. I took the test, fully qualified. It's a secret judge test that nobody's seen before, only me. But anyway, that was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be honest. To
they
actually try to
double up.
play in a sealed event and do all the placings with that many people, that was difficult. Our normally armor events are 8 to 16 people. I'm playing usually like Kano or something like that, where I don't even have to think about it anymore. I just know the deck. It was really hard doing that. I don't think I'll do that again. I think I'll just like set up and run it, and I'll enjoy the other pre-releases the next couple days. Because that was hard. That was
Yeah.
difficult, to be honest.
So here's the big question, okay? And this is the thing that I think I'm most interested in now that we've got like the results out, now that we talked about we went ahead and gave our thoughts on the current situation and attitude and some of the community. Now what I'm really interested in is your guys' thought, because we had 3 pre-releases and have done a few weeks now, or a couple weeks at least, of like tested. We've had the cards in our hand. We've gotten a feel for the different decks. After all of that, what do you guys feel like the meta is going to be? The thoughts on like old decks versus new deck. Like I'm interested in all of it, because I think that that's something that we've talked about, obviously, but I think it's something I would love to like put out there as far as like, what do we think? Because the beauty is now we're still early enough in the thing. We can be completely wrong and we don't look stupid in a couple months when the meta's fleshed out.
Mhm.
I have a couple things on that. Pretty quick. One
Go,
is
Jason.
we have not tested Lavia, because James White said I can call her whatever the hell I want, so I'm calling her Lavia. I'm
James
gonna
White said so.
stop correcting myself. Calling her Lavia because that's what she is to me. And sorry, I can hear Dane laughing over there. And I think we have not gone. Have we tested her in constructed to Prism? Because
In
we
a
just done her
Prism?
into Blitz. So I think we need to test that. That's going to be a huge thing. My thoughts are: 1, control meta in classic constructed for sure. It is going to be a control meta unless Lavia can wax Prism like she can in Blitz. Because
I don't
Blitz
think she does.
Blitz is going to stay aggro. I don't see Blitz going control. I just don't think there's enough time to go control. I think the aggro decks continue to win there. That's my thoughts on the 2. As per what deck, Prism, your Dane's Prism deck looks good. I do want to run some Wizard Constructed, because I think maybe Wizard Constructed could be good now.
Yeah, I think Wizard is going to be an interesting deck, because like one of the things that we've tested, we have been trying to test like all the different variants into Prism. That's kind of where we're at in the testing process. Like one of the things I've been trying to do is like Dane is much more like focused than I am when it comes to like being consistent, playing a deck, testing a couple of cards, looking at specific cards and really analyzing them. And I realized, like, as a general rule, I've said I've just accepted my place in life as a pilot. Like, if you give me a good deck, I can typically pilot it well. And like I think that, my success in sealed probably proves that, like, I just need a deck that's not terrible. Like, if I can put together a mediocre deck, I can usually play it pretty well and I can do pretty well with it. And so I think as a result, that like in the testing process, I work better as the person who just plays a bunch of different variants into the deck. So I've played Dorinthia and Katsu and Bravo and some Chain, and we've been trying to just test all these different variants. And I've let Dane take the like spearhead, the iron out the details of what's good in Prism and how to flex it. And I think what we found is interesting is that, like, she controls better than Bravo. Dorinthia matchup is super grindy, but it's a real challenge for Prism to like sustain pressure back on Dorinthia. Like even the game we played the other day where it felt closer, I still never felt out of control of
So
the
that-
game as the Dorinthia player.
Yeah. So it's funny that you bring that up. Like I feel like my talents sort of lean towards getting the foundation and like kind of the scaffolding and stuff set up, and like I can then hand it off to Blake, who's gonna pilot it cleanly for like 50 games and be able to say like, nah, in this you want these two, and this you want this play set of cards instead of this play set of cards. I'm figuring that out just because I want like to get the 80 that I want, because honestly,
Mhm.
Prism does have a ton more variance than I'm used to. Like there's in other classic constructed, you do have obvious swaps, right? You've got like
Mhm.
more defense reactions into Bravo. Like you've got like the stuff that just makes sense. But with Prism, it almost feels like she needs to run like different builds into certain matchups in order to not just
Yeah.
get crushed. If I try to run like the control aura build into Dorinthia, I get just wrecked. Like
Yeah, we tried
destroyed.
that one.
But
We
there
tried
is
that.
enough space and enough of your cards are like resource rich that you can swap out auras. Not exactly, like it's taking a little more tweaking, but you can basically swap out auras for effectively red cards, some pummels, and just sort of say goodbye to the aura build. There's a couple auras you still might want to mess with, but that's still in the process. But like you can do like a 10 card swap
Mhm.
and basically run like just do a clapback game with Dorinthia, and that was the first test of that like concept, and I feel like
Yeah.
it went pretty well. Like it was way better than the first build, and it felt like that
Yep.
the Prism deck is like that felt like if we were to play that out 10 times, I win 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Possibly. So,
I think it spreads the matchup a lot better
Mhm.
in trying to just go blow for blow and avoiding most of the auras and trying to play clean. I think it's going to be a bad matchup for Prism, but a matchup that if you can over pilot the deck and out pilot your opponent, I think you
Mhm.
can, maybe if you're a better pilot with a really good build, maybe you can push it 50-50.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's tough. Dorinthia is just like, she's able to do so much where she can push so hard, and she doesn't have to do anything really drastically different. She just tries to maybe go a little wider sometimes and cost you your hand. Because I think that's where, like when we practiced it or we were testing it, that's where sometimes games can get away from Prism, is if a deck can go too wide efficiently enough and tall at the same time. Like you have to have that mid-rangey, like wide tall strategy. I think like when we were testing Katsu, it wasn't the best build of Katsu. Like I just snagged one to play it. But I think that Katsu is interesting because like you go with a more aura build with Prism, and Ninja can kind of keep them down and kind of keep control of that situation.
Do you feel like that's what happened that
a lot
game?
better.
Do you feel like you kept control of
I
my
didn't-
auras?
I didn't feel like they got out of hand. Like when I was
Yeah,
playing
that's fair.
when I was playing Bravo, I just was screwed the whole game. But with Katsu, I was able to kind of pick off the one that I needed to pick off. And again, I think that the build was like too red heavy because
Mhm.
I wasn't having resources enough to like swing at you Kodachi, swing with like another attack or two, and then poke one with a Kodachi to end it, where I was able to kind of like keep control of everything. So what ended up happening was like I had a couple turns where like you got spectral shields and auras out of control, and I ended up taking like 7, where if I would have had just one more blue in hand, I could have played an extra attack and the Kodachi, and it would have
Mhm.
forced either all your cards out of hand so you wouldn't have swung, or I could have gotten a bunch of spectral shields off and taken, 2 or 3 less damage, which would have made the spread at the end where we were like 10 life apart much smaller.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think a ninja build could actually have some play into Aura Prism more so than most decks will have into Aura Prism, because that's the struggle. I'm super interested to see what Kano will do. I still think Kano has like a real rough matchup into Dorinthia, which I don't, by the way, think is going anywhere. So any of you who think power creep is an issue, I don't think Dorinthia is going anywhere at all, not even a little.
Well,
Not classic constructed, she's not.
to Jason's point, I think that there are some decks that kind of get beaten up by a lot of the new decks. Like
Azalea,
we haven't
Ranger.
tested.
She's just kind of she's
No.
pushed out. She was so strong,
She
but I
was
think
strong
she's just
before.
pushed out
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
No, Memorial Ground saved her. Memorial Ground saved her.
Dude,
Right,
Ranger
yeah,
got that
right.
huge support. Yeah, for sure.
Memorial Ground saved her.
No, but like Control Dash feels like that's still gonna be tough.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's like there's so many different things now, like even playing Prism, like decks that can run or just side in, like the time skippers and the time snap potion, or what is that? Yeah, time potion.
Yeah, if you put time snap in, I think time
'Cause
snap is going to be a lot
that
bigger deal than people
sucks.
think.
Yeah, time snap is awesome into Prism.
Yep.
You
So
heard it here
that-
first. Time snap, because you could just like, 2 action points and pop 1 aura and pop 2 auras and back to you. That sucks.
So I think that's why with playing, because I think Chain needs to be able to get through a Prism deck, because I think Prism's going to be strong. She seemed to get a lot of the toys of Monarch. So with Chain, I was 0 Mavrian Skies. I'm up to 6 now because or 5, just because I think go again to actually attack her to make her drop cards or build auras, and then you can go into the aura on the second one. I think Shadow Puppetry is going to be huge in this. I think Enlightened Strike's a must with the go again. So I think go agains are going to be huge. Obviously, I'm at 2 time snaps. I might up that to 3, but you have to have action point go again almost more so than any other type of go again, just because the auras pop it and kill it immediately.
To clarify, he just means action points, not a go again.
That
gives you.
So-
right, you need action points, not go again.
So here's an interesting
Go
thought.
again dies.
Right off the top of my head, here's an interesting point. Since Dash is actually capable of
That's what I was
generating
thinking.
random action points with things, and she could totally play something like time snap in the deck and play like a pistol induction chamber version, it's totally possible that Dash could absolutely just like keep an aura build wiped out.
Yep.
Because of oh god, what's the card?
The high
High octane. Yeah, so
where
it's
every
like
time you boost,
you could boost
I get to
into
bring my
her.
boost dash
Yeah.
into Classic Constructed with a high octane
Yep.
and just boost a shit ton and be like, I've got 3 action points now. That aura's gone. That aura's gone.
But
that
I
aura's
think
gone.
Chain. So here's where we get the circle meta that I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think Chain beats Dash because Dash does good against Tall Dorinthia for those big swings by doing unmovables. But what Dash isn't going to do good against is repeatedly 3-4 attacks per turn, up to 5 or 6 with Chain late game. And if you have the patience, which I learned, me and Dane popped a couple games off, and the result was the same. He was usually around 10 to 14 life when he won with Prism, but just finding out what cards you can and can't do and when to start making soul shackles, and that you can stop halfway through and only using that soul shackle in Classic Constructed when it actually is positive for you. If you get a good net result, don't just make one to make one, but are you getting somewhere in the battle? Don't make one to do a Tome of Torment just to draw another card that gets you nowhere. Put it on top of your attacks so that you're going multiple times to make Prism do something, which is hopefully empty your hand, and then you can pop aura slowly. So it's going to take more time. It's going to be a very, very difficult matchup for Chain, but I think it's a build that as you go and tweak it with these, you can get it closer to a 50-50 matchup. Because right now I think it's 70-30, probably, if not more, in favor of Prism, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. The only thing, and the thing that I'm struggling with now is just like speed, because like with Prism, I need to get my turns to 5 to 10 seconds because like it's gonna be a long game, and that's what I found. Like very similar to like Kale talking about playing Bravo, or I think it was actually Jacob that we had, talking about playing Bravo and how quick like his turns are. Like just being able to know, like get that. I mean, right now I'm taking 30 seconds in a turn. It's like, okay, I'm at time. Great.
Yeah. I think Prism's worst enemy early in the meta is going to be time. I think people should probably avoid her until they're really comfortable with her, or they're just going to you're going to take a ton of losses because you're going to get hit with time.
You're going to lose for both people.
We're playing with chess clocks. Yeah. By the way, whenever we're testing from like this point forward, just for me, I need you guys to play chess clocks so I know what time's at.
I also think after playing today that Spring Tunic is probably going to come out, and I might run just Iron Weave.
Iron Weave, I think, feels fine
for the block, and
the 1 block, and then plus you're going to get those 2 action points when you really need them. So I don't know. It just needs more testing. We'll see. Iron Weave 2 resources. Yeah, you gain
Yeah,
2
yeah, yeah.
resources
You said action points. I
after
was like, wait, Iron Weave doesn't give. Okay, I'm with you.
you can activate after you do an action and non-attack action.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
So it's something that is definitely doable. It's just going to take more time because the balance with Blood Debt is different than the balance that we've seen with other cards in other classes, and how to play out the Blood Debts when you hit your Soul Shackles, how many went out, do you have enough action points to play them all? I think I'm cracking Time Snap potions too soon, and
Mhm.
time skippers, you just need to save them.
Yeah.
Like I gotta start thinking of it the same way I think of Wizard. I'm not popping my boots till I'm going for game. And that's just when you have to do it.
Yeah. I think people are going to make a mistake with like chain. They're going to get, I think one of the bad habits that's reinforced with chain by the sealed meta is going to be the fact that in the sealed meta, you basically just make a soul shackle every turn because you're trying to burn through your deck and assume that you can outvalue your opponent by the end of it, or you're going to lose anyway because your deck doesn't have enough big attacks to really kill anybody. So you're basically just trying to go wide because in sealed everybody has 2 blocks. So if you can go 3-5 times in a turn somehow, or 1 to 3 attack 5 times in a turn, in sealed you probably win that matchup 9 times out of 10 because most people just can't block enough damage for it to matter in a 20 health game. But in constructed, in a 40 health game, and decks that are much more tuned and a lot more 3 blocks and better armor, I think people are going to find that they're going to get greedy. They're going to make too many soul shackles. And then about turn 5 or 6, we've seen this in testing too, where we're just like kind of doing that turbo soul shackle style. You kind of start looking at your deck. You're like, I think I'm just going to lose because
Yeah.
at some point you're going to run out of actions. You're not going to have enough go again because your deck is kind of diluted. And next thing you know, you're just like, yeah, I banished 7 cards and there's 1 card with go again. So
Mhm.
I'm going to eat 6 blood debt. And then for the next 5 turns, I'm going to eat, 6, then 5, then 4, then 3. And I'm going to play 1 action at a time while I slowly kill myself.
I will say in chain, now I have, in my opinion, 3 of the best 4 generic cards of Arcane and WTR, and that is Command and Conquer is in it, and I liked it in it. Enlightened Strike I put in it, and I liked it in it. I actually really liked it, especially on a Shadow Puppetry when you swing for 8 with Go Again. That
Mhm.
feels okay. And then you go right into Command and Conquer, feels even a little bit better. Art of War, the card I've never played
Dude, so
up
good.
until this deck,
So good.
is so good. It's ridiculous.
Double Art of Warring in the same turn. Just like, I'm just gonna. Who needs soul shackles? I'll just do it myself. Like, God.
So I'm curious what generics of this new set will fit in there, because I'm telling you, Shadow Puppetry and doing Light Strike, like the fact that I'm reading them, like this doesn't have to be a Shadow or a Runeblade card. I can just use this on any attack action. That card is so amazing in Shadow. I think it's got to be an auto 3 of if you're running Shadow.
Yeah.
I really
I
I love it. I mean, not necessarily for your deck, but like just as far as like generics, I love Exude Confidence. Like, that's such a solid card. I think we talked
And we
about
haven't
it
tested
on the
it
live
in
stream.
anything yet, have we?
No, I think that's what I mean. We got to start looking through like maybe some little tweaks after we get the foundations built out for some of these new decks that we're building and testing. But
Right.
that's our next step after kind of running them through the gambit, is figuring out what helps and hurts different matchups.
And just so people know, when we full on started testing decks where we're starting to crank out 3 to 4 games a day easily. And we are testing only classic constructed because we've put on our grown up pants now. We got our big boy underwear on. And so we're going to go CC because that's what we want to do well at. And yeah, there's three of them: Exude Confidence, Nourishing Emptiness, and Rouse the Ancients, which is a very, very interesting card, which I think has a place possibly in Lavia. Possibly.
Oh yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that.
Because she can pretty easily pull that one off.
What's the second one that you said? Exude Confidence. What was the other one?
Nourishing Emptiness. When there's no attack action cards in your graveyard, Nourishing Emptiness has Dominate, and if it hits, your hero gains 1 intellect until end of turn. So I there might be somewhere in Blitz with once again Lavia, who can empty. It's a 6. She can empty her graveyard pretty easily.
Oh yeah, Levia runs that for
That's
sure. because
Not a horrible card.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
so there's
six,
3 good ones that we have not started
with,
testing, which if I pull them, we'll immediately go into my Kav Dane deck and start for testing for Kav Dane.
I'm so
Browse
excited
the Ancients
Benji.
is hard to pull off, and except in very specific decks, I think.
I'll be honest, dude, just the belittle and minnowism have me so fucking excited for Benji. Like
Belittle and Minimalism is probably my 2 favorite sealed cards.
Sealed, yeah, they're fantastic. But I'm talking like Blitz. Like I think that they're solid. Like it has go again. It hits for 1 or 2. You just get to pull a minnowism, which just gives you either resources or lets you pump your final piece in the chain. Like, I'm in.
Right.
I'm in.
Oh,
coach.
and Blake, to your point, Rouse the Ancient, I think, is a 3 of auto include in any Bravo CC.
Yeah. It's really good in Bravo. Like it feels really
go
good.
Again? A Bravo with a go again? That's freaking insane.
I'll go 7 go again, and then after you decide that you don't want to block that, I'll give you a Crippling Crush for my arsenal.
Right, you could, because if you have the tectonic plate and you made your
surge,
you could legitimately do a 7 and do an 11.
Yeah.
7-11, baby.
What was that, Dane?
It's 7-11, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's amazing. That's even better, Dane or Blake. That's great.
I'm gonna hit you with the old 7-11.
It's the next Reiner Niner. It's the 7-11 coming in.
Yeah, the Bravo 7-11. That's where he goes out and meets the ladies after he's working the carnival or battling beasts.
Up at the Rift.
So yeah, we have not started testing the generics hardly at all. Just kind of with Chain, I've been working just the premier generics. I mean, I don't even have Memorial Ground in. I guess I should probably put Memorial Ground in it. 3 of
Cards
at least.
Busted. Just busted.
Oh, for Ranger?
Everything. It's just busted for everything. I think Azalea is just tier S now.
Well, it can only go in Ranger decks, right? It's a Ranger card.
Yeah.
Basically.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something on this? So Blake's played a ton of Ranger. I've played a little bit of Ranger. I enjoy Ranger like the just as much as the next guy. It's fun to play Ranger. Okay. We love Ranger. It's fun to play. She's awesome. If you're playing the deck right, you don't need freaking Memorial to put your Dominate card on top.
Yeah.
You just don't. Yeah. You can do that by having a card in your arsenal, using your cross rep. I mean, there's other ways to do that because now you're using 2 cards for 1. How are you going to go tall when you got no goddamn cards in your hand because you use them all to do a Dominate for 5?
I'm that's the thing that's my issue, right? Is like people like you can recycle Sleep Dart, dominated Sleep Dart, and I'm like, do you understand that people have armor and unmovables and defense reactions that they can put in their arsenal and stop that? Or what's even worse is when they don't have a hero effect that's relevant and matters. Like you know how many times in my life like I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna Sleep Dart Kano. And what I've done is make the worst decision of my life.
Right now,
he's just gonna kill me before I even let the Sleep Dart resolve. Go ahead, Sleep Dart Azalea or Sleep Dart Dorinthia. Like she cares. Cool. I can't swing twice this turn. Well, this one's gonna be really
all going
big.
Into 1 then, baby.
I'm putting it all on 1. Like you better block with your whole hand because
everything
guess what?
On
I've
black.
got 1 blue and I've got 3 buffs.
And God forbid if you get stuck with 1 or 2 of those on your opening hand and you got nothing in your graveyard to even do anything with, and then you got your Nimblism and Plunder Run in hand, you'd be like, well, I guess I'm not going to do anything this turn.
Yeah, it's going to feel bad to blind it from Azalea, like worse than any of the buffs. Like it's going to feel because like it feels bad to miss on a Dominate Arrow when you blind it if you have to blind it sometimes. Like at least if you blind it into like a Come to Fight or a Plunder Run or something like that, there's value in that card that you're like, I got an arrow in my hand. I'll just use that and drop it instead. Like there are solutions otherwise, but there's not a solution to Memorial Ground except to just be sad because you're like, cool. What card do I put on top that I draw?
It just still dies to Wizard. You play Memorial Ground, Wizard Ground. Wizard's gonna be like, I will respond before you grab any card out of that thing. We're going to do some stuff and we'll see if you have life left to do whatever you planned on doing before that.
I mean, the issue is it puts a card on top too. So like against Wizard, like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You got a red
Right.
card in hand, and it's gonna do nothing.
Right.
Like,
So then you can wait for them to do another
just
action to remove
oh,
it's so bad. It's we like I said, we love you, Azalea. We wish you were good. You just ain't. Everybody out there saying you're gonna be great. You're still not. Just
yeah.
stand behind the wall, sling some arrows up in the air. Hopefully hit somebody in the foot.
Godspeed to the people who are still committed to her and just giving her the time. Like I appreciate the commitment. I really do. I really do. I appreciate it. But anybody who says that she's like genuinely good, I
ain't seen it
No.
yet.
no,
I ain't seen it.
no.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of tournament reports.
So, Blake, you seem to be the wild card right now, right?
Uh-huh.
With the new decks. What are you leaning towards being excited to actually play? You've seen Jason play Chain and Levia a little bit. You've seen me play Prism and a little bit of Levia, a little bit of Bolton, but like we haven't seen my new list yet. But what are you like leaning towards, just as an objective view of the new classes or new heroes?
If you're asking me new classes,
Yep.
my intention is to build Prism and Chain
Mm-hmm.
to have those decks to pilot, because both of those decks seem fun for different reasons. And personally, I think I could pilot either one of them and feel comfortable, because they both feel like styles that, like, I like dredge decks, so like Chain makes sense in that sense, and I enjoy like toolboxy control-y decks, which is kind of what Prism does. If you asked me right now, like if we had a constructed event in a couple of weeks, what I would play, I would probably just play Dorinthia.
Yeah,
because like that's the deck I still feel most comfortable on, and the deck that I think has the best play into the meta, like across the board.
I mean, for Blitz, I think my two decks are going to be Kano and Lavia. I think she's going to be good in Blitz. I do think she'll wreck some people.
I think she feels a lot like a slightly better Rhinar. The issue with her is, like, I played her on Saturday, and the issue I had, the one game that I lost, I drew all of my attacks turn one were attacks that required me to banish 3 cards from my graveyard. And so it put me in a weird spot where, like, all I could do was swing with my axe and then hope that I hit cards that I could fill my graveyard up with, because it just, like, the deck can definitely have like awkward spots where you can kind of draw funky and get in a weird spot, and you're kind of required to set up right. I think that she has potential to lose hard to Dorinthia, though, because
that'd be an
some point,
interesting matchup.
Yeah,
I think at some point in the game, I think Dorinthia just uses her armor and blitz and eats, like, you swing big with no effect on hitting. Dorinthia blocks for 7 and then dares you to to take like a 5-card hand effectively with your arsenal, and says, hey, guess what? I'll bet you can't stop all this, and also not die to Blood Debt.
So if you do that early, though, it's, I will say, playing Levia like in a constructed format, whether that's classic constructed or blitz, like, she does do her thing very consistently. Like, you can very easily put 3 cards in one of them being a 6 in any sort of constructed format. When I say constructed, I don't mean just classic constructed. I mean blitz and constructed.
No, in blitz. Yep.
But so, like, what does Dorinthia do against the turn where she goes the face
Limb for limb?
No, not even that. Like, I mean, just the Dread Screamer with go again into banishing that, popping your boots into another 6, because if you're talking about having used your armor already, like, are you just taking that?
So that's what I'm saying is you conserve your armor for like the turn that you draw the hand, where like you have multiple go agains and like a twinning blade, right? Like you have a twinning blade or a glint in arsenal, and you have your boots up, and basically you do the same thing she's doing. The difference is, if Dorinthia has to sacrifice her hand, it doesn't end her game, because there's no negative ramifications for her not being able to do something on a turn. She just passes turn, has huge block. The issue is, if she has one turn if you have one turn as Dorinthia where you just go, cool, I'll block the big attack with my armor, and then I'll take 10 12 if that's what I have to, then I'm going to assume that at some point you've kind of eaten some damage from me back, and now you have 10 or 12, and you know with Dorinthia that I'm fully capable of doing all of that damage in one turn. And if I can go 3 wide with like a twinning blade and basically swing at you 3 times, you either die because I can put out 12 easy, or you block it all and now you're a turn behind and you have started to take blood debt, and Dorinthia has control of the game. I think if you lose tempo at any moment to Dorinthia as Levia, I think you just hard die.
I'd be curious to test that next, because I do like Levia as a viable option. I think I don't know. I'm not gonna play her because she's really, really straightforward. But like, I feel like it's not a bad deck. Like, if you're a new player and you're looking for something that's not gonna take, like, it's gonna start teaching you the ins and outs of like sequencing properly and being cognizant of your discard and being cognizant of what's in deck. Like, this is gonna be a good deck to like get you into all of that, and it does cool stuff. Like, there's definitely plays with Blood Rush, Dread Screamers with Go Again, ways that you need to be cognizant of what am I blocking with this turn to get my 3rd card in drop, or in graveyard, Dragon Ball's super term, in graveyard, so that I can then play my Dread Screamer, banishing those 3, one of them being a 6, turning off my blood. Like, you know what I mean? Like, being able to like think that stuff through a turn or 2 ahead.
Yeah.
Like,
it's going to depend on who gets the pieces.
I just think the difference is Dorinthia plays a lot of mind games that Levia can't play.
She's not going to. I would run Levia like the same way I would run Wizard. I don't care about your mind games. Either I'm not going to block, or I'll block with equipment, and we're just going to race. That's what I do with Wizard. Either Dorinthia kills me in 2, or I kill Dorinthia in 2. We'll see what happens.
Which is fine. I just don't like. I don't think Dorinthia folds to anybody.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't fold to anybody. I'm not saying that. She's good into every matchup. That's why she's always top. She'll be good into every matchup still. But I don't think she's going to auto win anything either.
No, I don't think she auto wins against Levia. I just think that the issue is if Ira and Dorinthia are still rampant in Blitz.
Kind of wrap everything up. We're heavy into play testing right now. We're heavy into play testing Classic Constructed. We're basically, for our group, we're in Prism and Chain right now, running into different matchups as we see and mess around with cards. I think I've already probably switched out half of Chain in the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times I've run him, probably over 10 now. I've switched him out. And I know Dane's in the same. So we haven't really started testing Blitz. I think that's next on our horizon. We might do a little bit of that on our live stream. We might do a little bit of that in person, hopefully in the next couple of days, depending on the pulls we get, if we can make the cards to make the proper decks. But
what are the boots in Warrior called, Blake? The new ones?
Valiant Dynamo.
If you like Valiant Dynamos, let me tell you about our Lord and Savior Phantasmal Footsteps, because hot damn does that feel good into a deck that's not running a bunch of 6 power and better attacks. Like, that was silly into Katsu. Like, I was literally just like, I'll just block that. Now I'll just block a second Gadachi every turn with a resource that I wasn't going to need anyways.
Yeah. I think they're interesting, right? Because they're effectively the same thing for 2 different classes. Because Prism, you typically have excess resources. You could use that. If you pitch a blue for it, you can use the other 2 at your end of your turn to make a Spectral Shield, and you basically you did something you wanted to do anyway. And like Valiant Dynamo, I don't understand for the life of me people who are like, I just don't know how that's good. It's like, are you insane? Is that why you don't see that? Are you insane?
Number is a 6, but it's just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, it's 1 every time, because I can't tell you how many times testing I've just been like Valiant Dynamo and another card to block a 4, Valiant Dynamo to block a 1, Valiant Dynamo. Because you know what I'm going to do next turn with Dorinthia? I'm going to swing twice with my sword every turn, and I'm going to reset the shield. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's good.
It's bananas.
It's good. Anyways, sorry, Jason.
Bananas.
Nope. That's fine. Other than that, I think from us coming up, there will be live streams. There's skirmishes starting back up again. I don't know if that's officially released. I'm releasing it. Skirmishes are coming back. I think they said something.
They said there's going to be seasons.
Yep.
Skirmish seasons.
I don't know if anyone heard yet if I'm supposed to say this, but let me tell you.
They're coming. Skirmishes are coming back. I think they've already said that they're coming back. So
yeah.
If not,
they called it Skirmish Season 1.
Yeah, Skirmish Season 1. So we'll be live streaming those when they come up. Hopefully this weekend we're going to try to get together. If we do, we'll be recording just a bunch of nonsense. I don't know what we'll be recording. Hopefully some gameplay that's IRL, and I don't know if we'll record box openings or not.
I don't know if we'll do like there's not much of that content out there, so maybe we will.
Yeah, I haven't seen many box openings of this.
No, me neither.
We're gonna open up boxes and then give away one common card from that box.
God, no. I wouldn't mind doing.
Careful.
That'd be fun to do like a box battle or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're coming.
If we open boxes, if we opened boxes together to do a box battle, our box battle would be building a deck out of a box to battle against each other, and we would only record the opening of the box so we could see what we were building. That's a box battle to me, not just opening boxes to see who gets a better box.
No, we'd be making
no. Yeah, no, we'd make a deck out of our box. What's this other thing you speak of?
People do
that
box
doesn't sound like
battles
doesn't sound like gameplay. No, I've seen that stuff. That's to each their own. All right. Yeah. Anyways, on that note, everybody, thanks for joining us for yet another week of us talking random bullshit. Thanks for putting up with us being a little heated at the beginning. I am personally calmed down now. I don't know how everyone else feels. Blake seemed like he was pretty level-headed the whole time. But be sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell notification just so you get the notifications when we do go live, because we are live streaming Tuesdays. Podcast comes out Friday, and we will be upping our other video content as we get some of these decks hashed out. I know we've got deck techs kind of in the works after we start being able to play at locals with these decks and see how they actually function into a wide array, because I think knowing each other's play styles and stuff will always lend itself to building decks certain ways. But anyways, be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what your thoughts are on the classes and your experience at pre-release. Love to see how everybody did, what your polls were. Actually, you know what? No, that. Don't put your polls in the comments down below, because you can put that on the main fan page and get likes and all that stuff. Just tell us your experiences, and we will talk to y'all later. Peace.